What if the most profound realizations come not from seeking new knowledge, but from suddenly recognizing what has already been right in front of you all the time? Over the past 2 days, we've been exploring 6 powerful teachings from Gurdjieff's cosmic masterpiece. Yesterday, we discovered how to work with universal forces, creating sustainable systems, and recognize impossible dreams. Today, I want to share with you 3 more transformative insights that could revolutionize how you understand your place in existence and your responsibilities to the world around you. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome back to Transcendent, my platform to help you be authentic and, if you like, to find your uniqueness and essence. Now, beware, my perspective may be uncomfortable. It was formed from a twisted journey around the world, crossing a wide spectrum of experience, but it began in modest surroundings, and it began in humble beginnings, raised in the Ozarks by hardworking parents and grandparents with a touch of Native American heritage, coupled with a deeply heartfelt view for our fellow man. Yes, I was aspiring in my youth. I had highs and lows, as most people would define them, and this channel is all about inspiring common people to find their power and place their uniqueness in their own lives, rather than give it away to others. My life's been a research lab. I've studied mystics and healers and started a couple of oil companies, raised 8 kids, walked away from a path to the NFL when I realized I just can't conform to a materialistic and violent lifestyle. I've raised well over $1 billion for startups, been in the middle of $10 billion worth of transactions, led 5,000 to 10,000 professionals in geology and engineering, and been mentored by rich and famous in business and athletics. You may be wondering why I'm talking about this. Well, this has helped me survive some real blows that I've taken in life. And I'm hoping that by sharing this, it'll ease the way for others who may also run into some of the things that I dealt with. They call it complex PTSD. Sometimes you may see yourself as an artist or someone that has a calling, and you're trying to pursue something unique, special. Or you may have a friend or loved one that's working from such a place, and you need to understand them or try to support them. Now, the 7th teaching that we're going to talk about today is the Sacred Process of Remorse. Now, in chapter 7 of Gurdjieff's work here, something extraordinary happens to Hussein, Beelzebub's grandson. After a simple technical conversation with the ship's captain about mechanical delays, and the young being, Hussein, suddenly enters what Gurdjieff calls an unusual state. For the first time in his life, Hussein experiences genuine awakening to cosmic consciousness. He describes his transformation with remarkable precisions. Things of which I have never before thought are now a thinking in me, he says. Notice the passive voice here. This isn't intellectual construction or forced meditation. This is authentic realization happening to him rather than being manufactured by him. Real insights arrive autonomously when consciousness is ready to receive them. What triggered this awakening? The recognition that everything in their contemporary existence has not always been such as he now perceives it. This seemingly simple realization opens vast psychological territories. Hussein suddenly grasped temporal awareness, moving beyond the eternal present of unconscious existence. He develops causal understanding, recognizing that present comforts result from past labors. Most importantly, he experiences moral awakening, suddenly seeing his position as inheritor rather than a rightful owner. The cascade of recognition becomes overwhelming. Hussein realizes that certain beings in the past have, during very long periods, labored and suffered very much to create everything that he enjoys. These past beings worked either consciously or unconsciously for us, that is to say, for beings quite unknown and entirely indifferent to them. Well, this strikes at the heart of human unconsciousness. We take our cosmic inheritance as the natural order without recognizing the enormous debt owed to countless unknown benefactors. Hussein confesses shamefully that present beings not only fail to thank their predecessors, but we do not even know a thing about them, but take it all as in the natural order and neither ponder nor trouble ourselves about this question at all. His metaphor is particularly striking. Everything was not born with me like my nose. This reveals how unconscious beings assume their comforts are natural features rather than accumulated achievements, requiring appreciation and gratitude. This recognition triggers what Hussein calls a process of remorse. This isn't neurotic guilt or self-flagellation. It's what Gurdjieff terms objective remorse, a sacred emotion arising from authentic recognition of previous unconsciousness. This process represents a fundamental shift from mechanical existence toward conscious participation in cosmic reciprocity. Think about your own life through this lens. Every road you drive on was built by people you'll never meet. Every technology you use was developed by countless unknown inventors and workers. Every book you read, every building you enter, every system you rely on represents the accumulated labor of suffering of generations who came before you. Most of us take all this completely for granted as if it were as natural as our noses. Ancient wisdom traditions understood this debt. Hindu philosophy speaks of three fundamental debts every person is born with: debt to the teachers who preserved knowledge, debt to the ancestors who made our existence, and debt to the cosmic forces that sustain life itself. Buddhist teachings emphasize the four debts of gratitude that must be repaid for spiritual development. These weren't seen as burdens, but as recognition and expression of appreciation for the numerous gifts we receive from existence. Modern psychology validates this understanding. Research shows that people who regularly practice gratitude experience higher levels of well-being, stronger relationships, better health, and more resilience in facing difficulties. But most gratitude practices focus on recent personal benefits. What Gurdjieff is pointing toward is something much deeper: cosmic gratitude for the vast inheritance that makes human existence possible. The eighth teaching here, to move on to chapter 8, is the art of authentic inquiry. Chapter 8 demonstrates one of Gurdjieff's most important pedagogical principles: the superiority of teaching that responds to genuine curiosity rather than imposing predetermined lessons. Instead of continuing his own narrative thread, Beelzebub invites Hussein to direct their conversation. He says, "Now ask me to tell you whatever you wish, and I will do so." This approach ensures that teaching addresses authentic curiosity rather than mechanical transmission of information. It reveals several crucial principles: student-centered learning that follows genuine interests rather than teachers' agenda, organic development that allows questions to arise from real inner need, and responsive teaching that adapts instruction to the student's actual state and concerns. With characteristic youthful boldness, Hussein asked about those how, those I forget. Yes, about those slugs. When pressed for clarification, he explains he's referring to those beings Beelzebub had mentioned earlier, whose skin is a little slimier than ours. Well, this irreverent nickname reveals several crucial elements. From the viewpoint of higher beings, humans appear quite peculiar. Hussein's authentic curiosity overcomes social propriety. Bold questions often penetrate deeper than polite inquiries. Rather than being offended by this irreverence, Beelzebub laughs and immediately understands that his grandson is asking about those beings who bred on the planet Earth who call themselves men. This positive response reveals the value of authentic questioning over artificial respect. In our educational system and our social interactions, we've largely lost this wisdom. Students are taught to ask only approved questions. Employees learn to raise only safe concerns. Social media algorithms reward conforming opinions and punish controversial inquiries. We've created environments that discourage the very kind of bold questioning that leads to genuine understanding. But authentic learning requires the courage to ask uncomfortable questions. Why do we structure society this way? Why do we accept certain limitations as inevitable? Why do we follow particular traditions without examining the origins or effectiveness? Well, these questions make people uncomfortable because they challenge established assumptions and power structures. The difference between authentic engagement and compliant engagement is crucial. Compliant engagement happens when students sit up straight, nod their heads, and give their answers they think the teachers want to hear. Authentic engagement happens when students ask questions that emerge from genuine curiosity, even if those questions challenge what they're being taught. Modern research on education confirms that students learn more effectively when they're encouraged to direct their own inquiry rather than passively receiving predetermined information. When learners can follow their genuine interests and ask questions that matter to them personally, they develop deeper understanding and stronger motivation to continue learning. This applies beyond formal education. In your relationships, career, and personal development, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your discoveries. Are you asking questions because you genuinely want to understand or because you think you should? Are you willing to ask uncomfortable questions that might challenge your existing beliefs? Are you curious enough to risk appearing ignorant or irreverent? Now, the ninth teaching here is called Understanding Your Cosmic Purpose. So, Chapter 9 provides the cosmological foundation that explains humanity's specific role in the universal order. Beelzebub reveals the cosmic catastrophe that determined Earth's relationship to the moon and established the fundamental context for understanding human existence and purpose. Long ago, an enormous comet called Condor collided with Earth due to erroneous calculations of a certain sacred individual concerned with the matters of the world creation and world maintenance. Well, this collision was so violent that two large fragments broke off from Earth and flew into space. Those fragments became the moon, originally called Lunar Perzo, and the smaller satellite, Anulios. Upon learning of this general cosmic misfortune, the ultimate cosmic authority immediately dispatched a commission of angels and archangels to investigate and address the consequences. They determined that the broken fragments had lost momentum and were falling back toward Earth, creating the potential for future cosmic catastrophes. To prevent this disaster, the Commission decided that the fundamental piece, namely the planet Earth, should constantly send to its detached fragments for their maintenance the sacred vibrations as spoken. Now, this sacred substance could only be formed when both fundamental cosmic laws functioned independently on Earth's surface, creating conditions necessary for organic life. The sacred vibrations, called askoken, are produced through the life and death process of organic beings. This substance is emitted by living creatures during their death, meaning that the moon is literally fed by the vibrations released when living beings die. This reveals the profound cosmic purpose underlying organic life on Earth. Human beings exist primarily to serve cosmic function of maintaining the moon in annulos through what Gurdjieff calls the ionosporian process. Individual lives contribute to the stability of the cosmic order. Death becomes a cosmic service rather than a mere termination. Life forms develop to maximize the production of necessary substances for universal maintenance. Now, this might sound depressing until you understand the deeper implications. You're not just a random accident in a meaningless universe. You have a specific cosmic function that's essential for universal stability. Your very existence serves sacred purpose and extends far beyond your personal concerns and ambitions. But here's the crucial paradox. Beings must fulfill their cosmic feeding function while simultaneously having the potential to develop higher consciousness that might transcend this mechanical role. This tension between cosmic service and individual development becomes the driving force for conscious evolution. The chapter also reveals humanity's progressive disconnection from cosmic reality. While the moon became well known to Earth beings, the smaller fragment annulos has been gradually forgotten. Contemporary humans not only have they no name at all for this smaller fragment, but they do not even see or suspect its existence. This forgetting represents our increasing unconsciousness about our place in the cosmic order. Ancient civilizations like Atlantis still knew of annulos, but later beings called it chemespai, meaning never allowing one to sleep in peace. This hints at its disturbing influence on human consciousness and suggests that our forgetting might be partly defensive, protecting us from uncomfortable awareness of cosmic realities. To bring it all together here, your place in the cosmic order. Well, these three teachings reveal the complete framework for understanding your existence and your responsibilities. You're not self-made. Everything you enjoy, every comfort you take for granted, every tool you use, every road you travel represents this accumulated labor and sacrifice of countless beings who came before you. Recognize this debt isn't meant to make you feel guilty, but to awaken genuine appreciation and responsibility. Your questions matter more than your answers. The courage to ask authentic questions, even irreverent ones, lead to deeper understanding, much more than polite conformity. The most important insights often come from challenging uncomfortable assumptions and following genuine curiosity wherever it leads. You have a cosmic purpose that extends far beyond your personal goals and ambitions. Your very existence serves essential functions in the universal order. But this doesn't diminish your individual potential. Instead, it provides the foundation for genuine spiritual development. The challenge is learning to fulfill your cosmic obligations while simultaneously developing higher consciousness. This requires what Beelzebub describes for his saying, a daily practice of bringing conscious awareness to unconscious processes. Every day at sunrise, connect your consciousness with various unconscious parts of your being. Convince these parts that they hinder your general functioning. They prevent you from becoming a good servant of the cosmic order. This isn't just ancient mysticism. Modern science increasingly recognizes that consciousness appears to play a fundamental role in the structure of reality itself. Some physicists propose that the universe is directed toward the emergence of life, intelligent life, and creatures with conscious understanding. Your development of consciousness might be participating in the very purpose for which the cosmos exists. Start each day with cosmic gratitude for everything that makes your existence possible. Ask authentic questions and emerge from genuine, that these can imagine or would hopefully emerge from genuine curiosity rather than just some kind of mechanical or robotic or social expectations. Recognize your role in the larger cosmic story while working to develop your individual potential for conscious participation rather than mechanical service. The process of remorse that Hussein experienced isn't a one-time event, but an ongoing recognition of unconsciousness that motivates conscious development. Every time you catch yourself taking cosmic inheritance for granted, every time that you ask a question that challenges comfortable assumptions, every time you align your individual development with cosmic purpose, you're participating in the evolution of consciousness itself. You're not just living your personal life in isolation. You're part of the cosmic process that's been unfolding for millions of years and will continue long after your individual existence ends. Your choices matter not just for what your personal happiness brings, but for the development of consciousness throughout the universe. The question isn't whether you have cosmic purpose. The question is whether you'll fulfill that purpose consciously or mechanically. Will you recognize the debt of gratitude that you owe existence itself? Will you ask the authentic questions that lead to genuine understanding? Will you develop your consciousness in service to the cosmic order rather than just your personal desires? These aren't philosophical abstractions. These are practical principles that can transform how you approach every relationship, every challenge, every opportunity in your daily life. When you recognize your cosmic debt, ordinary gratitude practices become profound spiritual exercises. When you commit to authentic questioning, routine conversations become opportunities for discovery. When you understand your cosmic purpose, personal development becomes participation in universal evolution. The choice is always yours, but the cosmic context is given. You can continue living mechanically, taking everything for granted, asking only safe questions, or pursuing only personal goals, or you can awaken to your true position in the cosmic order and begin the real work of conscious development. The universe has been preparing for your participation in this cosmic purpose for billions of years. Everything that brought you to this moment, to reading or hearing these words, considering these ideas, represents the culmination of vast cosmic processes. Are you ready to embrace your role consciously rather than mechanically? The tools are available. The understanding is clear. It's clearer now than ever. The cosmic purpose is waiting for your conscious participation. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.